Hey, Mitch.
So, how's things?
Great. How are you?
Good. Got tons of shit to do before.
Uh,
2 months of travel starting on Wednesday.
yeah. So you went to France, right?
Yeah, and before that, Berlin.
Oh, great. Okay. Um, so what, you're heading back to Europe, or where are you going?
Well, this time I'm going to Urbana, Illinois. The artist in residence there. Got all these workshops there I'll be giving in talks. And then China. Go to all the hacker spaces there, give workshops and talks and maker fair and talk to universities. Yeah, lots of cool stuff.
Wow. Okay, great. Okay, so since this is the first actual interview I'm doing with you, first of all, do you mind if I record the interview?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Okay, so can you just briefly tell me? I mean, I know who you are, but can you just briefly tell me who you are? What do you do? Why do you do it?
Wow. Um, well, my name is Mitch Altman, and probably known mostly for creating TV beacon remote controls that turn off TVs in public places,
Uh-huh.
keychains that turn off TVs in public places, and also co-founder of NoiseBridge, San Francisco hackerspace.
Yes.
And, I do pretty much what motivates everything I do is, we all have the power, a lot of power, personal power to make our own lives better and the lives of those around us. And for lots of different reasons, different for different people, we don't use that power. It's scary to use that power. And so we spend most of our time doing things we don't even necessarily like working jobs we don't like or jobs we hate, watching TV to get away from it, or doing all sorts of other behaviors to avoid all the stuff, just to chill out and then dream about all of this while we're asleep. And so we're basically, really out of commission. So I love doing things to motivate people to just make some other small and or big choices to make their lives better and make the lives of those around them better as a result. And the more people who do that, the better the world gets.
Yeah. Well.
So this is something we can do much better in supportive community. And hackerspaces are one form of supportive community. So that's why I give workshops at hackerspaces.
Yeah. Yeah.
And hackerspaces are happening everywhere. It's really cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I interviewed Georgia Guthrie. You know her, correct?
No.
Georgia from the Hactory. She's the director of the Hactory in Philly.
Oh yeah, I know Georgia.
Yeah, and she mentioned to me, I think his name's Bernie, your friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bernie's a co-founder or founding member of the Hactory.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, so I interviewed her, and she gave me a lot of great ideas, about, and, issues and things related to, how her hackerspace is running. So, I mean, what do you think is the biggest opportunity or problem that you see traveling to, I guess, all these different hackerspaces all over the world?
Wow. The opportunity is that there can be more hackerspaces. So the more hackerspaces, the more people can have more opportunities to explore and to do what they love.
Yeah.
And Walking through a tour of Noisebridge at the moment. So, yeah, so the more people that can have that opportunity, the better life more people around the world can have. And when people get together doing that, they can give more opportunity for people in their outlying community, whatever cities and areas and even countries or parts of the world. So right now there's 900 active spaces existing, forming, over 500 active. And that's great because, there's tens of thousands of people who make use of these, but that's out of 7 billion. What will the world be like when there's a million hacker spaces, when places people can go to learn whatever it is they want to learn, to live the life they want to live? And this is my fantasy. And, what if we had a million hacker spaces, where places where people could really explore and do truly what they love in their lives? That would be an awesome world.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So this project that I'm doing is I'm trying to figure out some kind of way to kind of help that process happen, I guess, more quickly or more efficiently. So I don't really have anything preconceived at this point. One idea initially right now is to have like a blue sky meeting with some hacker space people in the near future, to kind of brainstorm, sort of like the library project we did.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. And so I don't know. Let me think. What do you think is the main thing that is hindering more hacker spaces from forming, or do you think that this is just the beginning? So it's just it's just
totally the beginning. I don't see any hindrance at all. So it's just more people have to find out and see that they can do it, because that's how it happens. That's how every hacker space is started. Is people found out about it and saw that they can do it. I'm just one person, and I got together with my friend Jake, and we're just two people, and we started Noisebridge, but we're just two people, so we got together with lots of people and started Noisebridge, and those people attracted more people, and Noisebridge is happening. This is how it happens in every hackerspace everywhere in the world. There's no hindrance at all. But every place has its advantages and disadvantages for starting a hackerspace, or for anything for that matter, but for starting a hackerspace. So, like San Francisco, huge advantages. There's lots of geeks here. That people know there are a lot of geeks here.
There's lots of geeks. Yeah.
I'm sorry?
There's lots of geeks. That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a huge advantage here. But a big disadvantage here is that things are expensive, especially space. So, but there's enough people here with enough money to pull together to pay for that, because there's so many geeks. Places that are like little towns or little cities, whatever, things are really cheap. Or places like Detroit, even big cities like Detroit, things are really cheap. The disadvantage, though, is people have hardly any money. But since things are cheap, there's enough people to pull together to get enough money to make it happen.
Right.
But everywhere, there's enough resources of whatever is needed to make a hackerspace that people want to be a part of happen.
Right.
So it's just people have to see by example that it's not only way cool, but way doable.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
They're happening in libraries as well, all over the place. The Philly library is one high-profile, really cool one. But it's happening. Interesting. Just yesterday, I got an email from someone at the San Francisco Public Library inquiring about the same thing, and they had no idea about the Philly meeting that we were at. So I let him know and keyed him into a bunch of links online about other libraries doing stuff. So we're just at the very, very, very beginning of libraries seeing this as an opportunity. And then the Chinese government is actually pushing, making it essentially mandatory that 100 of the top universities there have their own hackerspace.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'll be helping that when I go there.
That's great. How long will you be there in China?
A month.
Wow. Okay. So actually, one idea that I had was that maybe through all the interviews I've been doing at the Hacktory and with Georgia and with other makers and artists, is that there's this kind of idea that people would like there to be more collaboration between the spaces, and I don't know what you feel about that.
Yeah, the more collaboration, the better. Right now, hackerspaces already collaborate. There's a bunch of international projects amongst hackerspaces like space exploration,
right,
and like DIY Bio, and a non-centralized internet that anyone can use. And RepRap is another example. And hackerspaces all support each other in helping get going and in getting through problems that are new to them but experienced by others. And there's definitely room for a lot more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
And there's no impediments to that, and there's organizations like hackerspaces.org that are not official, like hardcore NGOs, but ad hoc organizations that allow people to network very easily and have email lists and a monthly call-in for people to help each other.
Right.
So, but the more that we cross-pollinate, the better, which is why I created the Hackerspace Passport.
Right.
And, it's just one fun little thing, and, we need that and a whole bunch more. And the more we do, the better it gets.
Yeah.
No. As well as me and lots of other people doing workshops, traveling around and doing workshops all over the place.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to talk to you about that too. I don't know if you want to wait until you get back, but about the hacker train or whatever that thing is.
I want to chat with you. I'm doing an introduction to programming today.
Yeah.
To just talk about programming. And then I'm also doing an LED light show. A lot of good stuff. I'm doing
Sure. Next day, Monday?
Monday?
Yeah. Yeah.
I still think a couple of regulars. That's nice. I'm doing it here.
Okay, cool. There's no email list right now, but there's just a bunch of CC people, and nothing is quite gelled yet. But I'll if you email me today before I leave, then I will see the email. After I leave, I'm going to fall way behind on email again. But email me asking me to email you with everyone else on the Hackers Out of Train list, and then you'll be part of that.
Okay, great.
I'm not a good central contact person for that, since I'm unable to keep up with emails while I travel.
Right. Okay. So yeah, and actually, just one last thing. One idea that that's been kind of boiling in this whole process is possibly the idea of doing some kind of art juried exhibition with hackerspaces. And Georgia mentioned that kind of exists or existed. It was kind of, I don't know, it was called like the Geek Awards or something like this.
New to me.
Yeah.
We need more. Like the Hackerspace Passport is just one project, and it's helpful. and having Geek Awards is yet one more cool project. Even though I've never heard of it, sounds like a cool project. And if you, help facilitate another one starting, great. None of these compete with each other. They all add up together to make something greater than the sum of the parts.
Right.
And that's the whole hackerspace movement, and that's human existence. So let's make that happen.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, Mitch, are you? It sounds like you got to run.
I'm walking home now.
Okay. Well, thank you for talking to me. Hopefully, we can communicate more again soon. Yeah. So your phone will not be working, I'm assuming, while you're traveling.
My phone will be working while I'm in. My phone's always working. It's just really expensive to use it when I'm out of the U.S.
Yeah.
But I always get a SIM for the country that I'm in.
Uh-huh.
I'll have a Chinese number when I'm in China, but when I'm in Urbana, it's another world there, but it's still the U.S. phone system, so my phone will be out there.
Yeah.
I have my U.S. phone affordable and operating until April 3rd.
Okay. So are you going to be leaving for China on April 3rd, or what's the deal with that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Great. Okay, well, I'll be in contact. Thank you so much for this initial interview. It was great.
Sure.
Yeah.
But what do you have in mind for the juried art thing that you were mentioning?
Well, you know what? The idea came from, I submitted my work to a juried show, and then I did a Kickstarter project for it a few months ago, and it was really a huge boost for me, and I really got into, I was doing an interactive video piece with processing, and, for me, it really, inspired me to kind of have supporters and also to have people also in the art show that I was in to kind of, meet and show off my work, and it really helped me.
Yeah, because you have a deadline and a focus.
Yeah, exactly. And, and Georgia thought it might be a good idea because it would, it might, unite hacker spaces that are not normally communicating that much, or at least on some kind of, and also a thing that she mentioned is that
it's a great excuse to get people to communicate more.
Right. And
it's fun.
Yeah, and the thing that Georgia is that this is really interesting is that I'm an artist, but also a designer. But what she mentioned is that a lot of the people who work in hacker spaces don't consider themselves artists or fine artists. So there's a disconnect between the language of artists and makers, too.
Right, and there should not be because hackers are artists. And I'm a hacker. That's how I identify myself. It's one of the ways I identify myself. Not so much like when I think of all the different words for identity for me. Artist usually isn't one of them, and yet I've been invited to be artist in residence twice.
Right.
And that's what I'm doing in Urbana.
Oh, okay.
So, it's an artist in residence program, and but the thing is, we are artists. It's not art. The art we're doing isn't art that is often in museums, but more and more it is.
Right.
There've been exhibits all around the world that are cool things from hackerspaces.
Right.
And there's room for more. People love it.
Yeah.
And we are artists. That's part of being an artist is expressing yourself through your creativity. And it doesn't have to be, but we're also hackers, So we don't have to be held back or constrained by the usual boxes that define what an artist is.
Right.
We can express ourselves through creativity in all sorts of realms that have artifacts, which is our art.
Uh-huh.
So, yep.
Yeah.
related events that bring hackerspace together. I've organized a couple of hackerspace challenges.
So
one, I got together with the video makers that I met at the Hackery, actually. And they got sponsorship from Scion, the car company, and they paid for the whole thing. It wasn't all that expensive, especially for them. And they got quick publicity from it. They really didn't ask for much in return except to be thanked at the end of each 10-minute video. And that was it. So each hackerspace created a project, and then I commented on it and chose one that I thought was the coolest at the end. Then there was another one which was a bunch of hackerspaces were given $3,000 a piece, 30 hackerspaces. This one was sponsored by electronic part distributor called Element 14, and they gave hackerspace $3,000 a piece, and they're all so I organized this, and I thought, well, this should be something useful. So how about if all the projects had something to do with educating people?
Right.
So each hackerspace, and that was it, and it had to use a microcontroller. So that was the constraints, and then each hackerspace interpreted that any way they wanted to, and they created lots of really cool projects, and it brought lots of people together at individual hackerspaces that were having trouble getting people to collaborate, but this was a perfect excuse to have a fun way to come together with a deadline and a goal.
Right.
And it worked great. So more shit like that would be wonderful. And what you have in mind is a little different because it's not taking people within individual hackerspaces, grouping together that way, but having the hackerspaces commingle without the boundary of the hackerspaces somehow.
Right.
But do you have more idea on what you'd like, what you're envisioning?
Do I have more idea on what I'm what?
Envisioning?
Yeah, well, I was envisioning some kind, basically a juried or a juried art / hacker, contest or show, and basically it would be like a curated art show that would invite people from different, from all different hackerspaces to submit work. And then we would ask people who are both, we would have a jury of people like you, but also people who are art curators. So it would be kind of blending the lines between the hacker DIY community and art community. And then taking that, and there would be some kind of, there could be sponsors or there could be some kind of awards, obviously. But basically, this would just give the individuals, but also the hacker spaces themselves, bragging rights to say, "Oh, our community member won best video installation or something, or won best interactive animation or something, or whatever." So yeah, that's sort of what it is at this point.
Great.
Yeah.
Make it happen. I'll help.
Okay, great. That's what I wanted to hear. It's off to the races now.
Good. That's the way that things happen is just by doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this will be great. And I wanted to work locally here in Philadelphia, but also, I don't know how we could work it, but invite other spaces to participate from other parts of the world.
No problem there. There's hackerspaces.org email list.
Yeah.
And me, I've got thousands people following me on Twitter
Right.
And then Facebook and Google Plus and Diaspora and whatever. So,
Yeah.
and then other people also are capable of getting the word out.
Yeah. Now, the thing is, as far as you I'm sorry, what?
We have a lot of resources available.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? How I don't know. This was one issue I was thinking is if there's going to be money involved to get sponsors or to do some kind of Kickstarter project or what. I don't know what. But you suggest sponsors.
It could go either way. But sponsors is probably the easiest. And if it's a company that has something to do with the vision of what the juried arts say, I'm not sure what to call it. But yeah, so some company that fits in with that vision that you have for where this is going and what it's for,
right?
And that's the best. You know, not just someone to give money merely for publicity.
Right.
So like Scion doing their electric car thing and innovation, et cetera, you know, fit in that way for the first Hackerspace Challenge.
Right.
And then having, you know, me, a hardware hacker, for the second one, having a parts supplier, someone who can donate soldering irons and parts for Hackerspaces.
Well, like Jameco or something.
One. Yeah, so the second one, I mean, it could be something, you know, huge like Flax or, you know, not Flax, that's local, Pearl Art Supply. You know?
Right.
But it could be something like, you know, a larger local art supply place. So, but it would be good to have a company that's moderately big, but that people like for getting their supplies.
Right.
Whether it's video or photography or visual arts of other sorts or whatever, I don't know.
Right.
Because, you know, for a company like that, I don't know what, like, you know, you have to come up with a budget and see how much you need, but if it's $10 or $20 or $30,000 for a company like that to get a lot of really great PR,
right,
it's very, very little money.
Right. Okay. So I mean, I think that this could be the project. This could be my project. You know, and I mean, if you want to be, I would love for you to be involved, and you already kind of said you wanted to be. Yeah. You know, I know you're very busy.
Yeah. My time getting, having enough time to do things is my biggest challenge.
Yeah.
There's so many incredibly cool things to do. And I definitely have to travel less than I have been in order to do more of what's really pressing inside of me to come out now. Yeah, I don't know. The most pressing problems for me right now are problems that are fantastic to have. There's way too many things that I really love doing than time to do it.
Right.
It is a problem because I have to prioritize.
Right.
It's still a problem.
Yeah.
Having lack of time is kind of stressful. But,
right.
But it's a great problem to have.
Yeah.
And so anyways, I'll help any way I can. As it gels, I'll definitely be involved in a way that works for me, whatever way that comes to be. So, but right now it's just an idea, so I don't know what will be involved. I can't say much more. But
yeah.
I'll really help in whatever way I can.
Great.
It sounds great.
Okay, that's great. Okay. Well, that's exciting.
Make it happen.
Okay, I will.
Okay, that's in order.
Okay. Great. I will take your order. General Altman.
Yeah. So, yeah. So as long as it's something that seems exciting for you, that needs to come out of you, and it sounds like it is.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so I'll be in touch. I'll shoot you an email today with regards to the hacker train and maybe some ideas about this project.
Cool.
And then I'll be in touch in the next week. I'll shoot you a text or something or whatever.
Very good.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mitch.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Okay, bye.